Good morning and welcome to
Good morning.
Cincy Lifestyle. Yeah, good morning, Mona. Let me take over for you while you fix that little technical problem you've got there. Good morning and welcome to Cincy Lifestyle on this Thursday morning while we get ourselves together heading into the weekend. And Mona, this is Halloween weekend.
You know what it is. And let me tell you what my plans are for this weekend, Clyde. We are going to watch scary movies all weekend. That's my guilty pleasure. I really love scary movies. But let me tell you what the top 10, according to sci-fi.com, the top 10 horror movies of all time. And
okay.
number 1, Halloween. That was a good one.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Night of the Living Dead. The Exorcist. Yeah, I can tell you, The Exorcist is out for me. I will never watch that movie again. I watched it once, and I've never watched it again. That was too scary for me. Suspira. I don't know what that one is, but I'm going to check it out. The Texas Chainsaw Murders, or Massacre, rather. Saw. I don't know, did you see any of the Saw series?
No.
I did. I love them all. Scream, which is one of my favorites, and then a movie called Freaks. So that's the top 10. Hey, if your favorite horror movie didn't make this list, hit us up on Facebook. We want to know what your favorite horror movie is. Mine, I'm going to say, is probably Scream. I really enjoyed that.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's horror versus science fiction. I tend to be more of a science fiction guy, so I'm looking for Alien, I'm looking for Predator and stuff like that, and that's not on there. So is that the distinction?
No. That is the distinction. These are movies that make you jump or scream. Yeah.
Oh.
We like that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, you know, the 10 DVD episode of Cincy Lifestyle might have done that, but okay, sure. If you say so.
Yeah, I think we had a segment or episode this week that I was screaming at because it was so bad and I had all the technical errors. Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, we do have a few of those. Well, you know, the other big thing coming up too, Mona, I don't know if folks are aware of this or not, but there's an election in the offing, and folks are already voting. And so I'm going to pose a question to you. Is it illegal to take a ballot selfie? You're in the voting booth, you take a selfie with yourself and your ballot.
I'm going to say no.
Well,
I'm going to say no. Am I wrong on that? What's up with that?
Well, it depends on where you are, and that's really what it boils down to. But a guy in New Hampshire found out the hard way. He was in the wrong place, took a selfie of himself in the ballot box after he voted, put it online socially, and found out he was in trouble with the law because in New Hampshire, at least, it is against the law to do that. Based on what a law professor at New York University suggested, the reason it's illegal is because they don't want any form of voter coercion or anything of that nature, vote buying, things of that nature going on. A quick check around this region suggests that Kentucky and Indiana allow ballot selfies, or at the very least, Mona, they don't particularly enforce this law. Ohio, on the other hand, not really sure about that. So I'll tell you what, when you go vote, Mona, take a selfie and then let us know if you get in trouble.
Thanks a lot, Clyde. You know, what I'm hoping is that it's not illegal to take a picture of yourself, putting the envelope in the drop box, because I'm saying that for a friend, you know, but I know people who have done that. I'm saying that for a friend, yeah.
Well, Mona, you know, this whole selfie thing is just one of many topics that have surfaced in this momentous election year, something about elections that end in the year 20, I guess. Well, because the 1920 election was also momentous for a variety of reasons. And what happened that year in our town? Well, let's just say it was full of Cincinnati curiosities. As we vote in the election of 2020, let's look back on the election of 1920. It was remarkable in many ways. The election of 1920 was, of course, the first national election in which women were able to vote. It saw the election of Warren G. Harding, the last Ohioan elected to the White House, and it was the last newspaper election before radio started turning audiences towards electronic formats. So here are a few curiosities from the 1920 election as it played out in Cincinnati. Number one, the age question. When the 19th Amendment was finally adopted, the Cincinnati Times-Star, resolutely opposed to women's suffrage, predicted few women would actually register to vote. If every woman is forced to give her age, the Times-Star opined, there is going to be a great abstention from voting. Wow. Number two, voters needed 9 ballots to vote. In 1920, voters were handed 9 separate ballots as they entered the polling station and had to deposit marked ballots in 9 corresponding ballot boxes. The 9 ballots were 1 ballot for presidential electors for 4 parties, Democrat, Republican, Socialist, or single tax. 2 statewide ballots for those 4 parties, plus the Farmer Labor Party and the independent ticket. 3, a nonpartisan judicial ballot. 4, the statewide crab prohibition referendum. 5, citywide initiative to expand streetcars to California, Ohio. 6, initiative to increase Cincinnati police pay. 7, a county road levy. 8, Cincinnati operating tax increase. And 9, city schools levy. Number 3, no elephants or donkeys. That's right. Although political cartoonists employed elephants to signify Republicans and donkeys to depict Democrats, those were not the official party emblems in 1920. Republican ballots showed an eagle at the top, while Democratic ballots were emblazoned with a rooster. The socialists employed a hand holding a torch. Prohibitionists used a rose. Number 4, really high-tech election results. The Cincinnati Enquirer worked out a deal with the Union Central Life Insurance Company, owner of the then tallest building in town, to flash coded election results from the top of the Union Center building. An H for Harding or a C for Cox indicated who had the lead at the time. The governor's race was communicated by colored lanterns, green for the Democratic candidate, red for the Republican contender. And right now, I want to welcome the president of these peculiarities, Greg Hand. Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
So, did women really decline to give their ages?
Obviously not. It was amazing, the turnout of women in the election of 1920, not only in Cincinnati and Hamilton County, but throughout the United States. But right here locally, they estimated that they used almost twice the number of ballots that they had used in the last presidential election. So it was very obvious that women were very happy to be able to vote and took advantage of it and gave their ages.
In addition to Harding, who won?
Yeah, this is one of those things where in your history books, you're going to hear about Harding winning the election, but we also had on that ballot Harry Lyman Davis, who became the governor of the state of Ohio. And today, hardly anybody hears about this guy, even though he served 2 terms as the mayor of Cleveland, 1 term before he was governor and 1 term after he was governor. We also voted on something called the Crab referendum, which was kind of a startling prohibition movement. The federal government, of course, had laws against alcohol, but that was really just transporting and selling alcohol. In Ohio, they passed this Crab amendment that allowed people to go into your house and inspect to see if you possessed alcohol. And eventually the Supreme Court threw this law out. By then, prohibition was almost over, but that came up in this election. The other thing that won was school levies. The Cincinnati people voted in support of school levies. Almost all the other tax levies were voted down, including the specific tax levy to give police a raise.
So how did they keep all those ballots straight?
You know, in the pre-computer age, the 9 ballots was actually a method to make vote counting even simpler. Now, the interesting thing is that in 1920, we come through this election with 9 separate ballots and 9 separate ballot boxes in every polling place. 5 years later, Cincinnati adopted an even more complicated way to count elections called proportional representation. And for 32 years in Cincinnati, you didn't just vote for a person, you voted for instance, all 9 council people in order. And so when they counted the votes, people who got number 1 votes got more votes than people with number 2 votes. But even the number 9 votes were marshaled in, and counting the ballots took days and days and days for 32 years.
Greg, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for bringing us these curiosities.
Can't wait till next time.
Well, like most moments in 2020, this year's holiday shopping season is shaping up to look a lot different. In fact, a new survey from Affirm shows that over half of Americans have already started their holiday shopping. Now, this change will present a new set of challenges and opportunities for consumers when it comes to budgeting. And that is where millennial money expert Tanya Rapley comes in. Tanya is the founder of the award-winning site MyFab Finance, and she's also author of the Money Manual, a practical guide to help you succeed on your financial journey. Tanya, thank you so much for talking to us. And I've got to ask the question, how are people shopping this year?
Yeah, people are shopping. They're mindful. People are shopping and they are price conscious. And so if they see something on sale, they are buying it now, which is why over half of people have already started doing their holiday shopping, because if they see a deal, they're going to grab it. They're not waiting until Black Friday or Cyber Monday to grab those deals. And then also, they're not traveling as much. So people aren't spending as much money on travel. About 73% of people in that same study found that people are scrapping their holiday travel plans, but they're still planning to buy gifts. So they're buying it for those closest to them, or even mailing them to them.
Okay, you know what? That's a good point, because I've actually started my Christmas shopping as well. So what are some tips you have for people to stay on budget and out of debt?
Yeah, so as a financial educator, I work with people a lot on that holiday debt that they create and knocking that out before the next holiday season and creating a plan. But if you haven't created that plan, we'll start now by creating a budget, because you really want to avoid the holiday spending traps. And one of the things you can do to remain in your budget is understanding that buy now, pay later solutions have increased in popularity this year. And so I recommend using Affirm because it's flexible, it's transparent. The purchase price that you see is going to be the price that you pay at checkout, or the price that you see at checkout is going to be the price that you pay. And it's flexible, so it fits into your budget. So you can choose to pay those items off over the course of 4 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. And that allows you to budget better when you know what you're going to pay, but you can buy what you need now and pay it off over time. Another way to mind that budget is create a list. I don't know if people in the past have created lists, but creating a shopping list for who you plan to buy for and what you plan to purchase also helps you remain in budget. And avoiding gift giving. If they're not on that list, then they don't get a gift. Avoid that guilt gift giving, so that you're not buying out of obligation, but you're actually buying out of sincerity and for the people that you plan to buy for. And then the last tip that I actually have is creating DIY gift baskets. And so I created this gift basket. It's full of things that I love or things that I would enjoy in my gift basket under the tree. But a gift basket is a great way to get, inexpensive items, put them together, and get more bang for your buck. So those are a few things people can think about when staying on budget, but also giving to those you love this holiday season.
Oh, real good tips, Tanya. Thank you so much. Where can people go for more information?
Yes, you can use Affirm at more than 6,000 retailers. You can find out more which retailers and find out more about Affirm at affirm.com. And if you want any budgeting tips, you can go to myfabfinance.com.
All right, sounds good. Tanya, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Now, coming up here on Cincy Lifestyle, how are you voting in the upcoming election? If you're not sure, well, AARP can help. We'll talk about a couple of your options and how to get nonpartisan information about issues on the ballot this year. Then, flu season is almost upon us. Buckeye Health Plan will discuss the benefits of getting your flu shot. Got all that and a whole lot more, and it's all just a couple of minutes away.
Well, next week is Election Day, but it's never too late to learn more about who and what are on the ballot. And one way to get this is by visiting AARP's robust, nonpartisan collection of information curated specifically for voters 50 plus, or anyone actually who wants to be well informed. And joining me today to tell us more, I want to welcome Terry Supancic. She is a volunteer with AARP in Cincinnati. Thank you so much for joining us, Terry. And Terry, I want to ask, AARP has a long history of informing people about issues like Social Security and Medicare, right?
Absolutely. We are a nonpartisan organization that works very hard to get the issues out to voters so they know how to vote, how they feel their vote is going to be counted.
Very good. And requests for absentee ballots this election are breaking records. So what do voters need to know about absentee voting or early voting?
We need to get there as soon as possible. Make sure that you have requested your ballot. You have until October 31st, but be sure that you get it. I would say do it as soon as possible. Also, you have the opportunity to go in to vote and to vote ahead of time. That started on October 6th, and it continues all the way up until Election Day. All mail-in ballots must be postmarked by November 2nd. So we have to make sure that if you're mailing them, they are postmarked by November 2nd.
You know, that's a really good tip. Do you have any other tips for people voting absentee ballot?
Well, they also can check that their absentee ballot is being sent. First of all, you can go to voteohio.gov and track it to make sure that they received your application, when it was sent to you. And also, when you go and send it, they will let you know if they received it and it's being counted.
Okay, so you also mentioned early voting. Explain how that works and what do voters need to know about that?
Early voting is done at the Board of Election or any other site that they have chosen to get the most people in. The Board of Election, if you call them, they will tell you the hours that they are open. In-person balloting can be done there. Also, they have drop boxes where you can also take your absentee ballot and drop it off. It is very safe. People also have curbside voting, and for those who have mobility issues that can't get into the polls.
Terry, this is all great information. I just really appreciate you talking to us and helping voters really understand what their options are. Thanks a lot, Terry.
Thank you so much.
Well, with fall and winter on the horizon, the upcoming flu season and ongoing COVID-19 pandemic combined will challenge Ohio residents and the health system in many ways. Experts at Buckeye Health Plan say the stakes for increasing flu vaccination rates have never been higher. And I'm here right now with Dr. Lucas from Buckeye to get answers to many of these questions Ohioans are asking about the flu season. Now, welcome, Dr. Lucas. Right off the bat, what can people expect this flu season with COVID-19?
Oh, thanks for having me. Flu season's not being kind to us either this year. It's a difficult year. We're seeing certainly a typical flu season, and if anything, it's coming on strong. And so what to expect? I think confusion. I can think of a number of personal family stories and stories we're hearing from our members and the doctors out there. Folks coming in exhibiting symptoms that could be the flu or could be COVID-19, and or hearing about that and having to get tested and deal with whichever one it is.
What do you have to tell someone who may not be an annual flu shot goer this time of year?
We all can make in this country our personal choices, but if there's ever been a time where we've had fear and seen what can happen to our communities and the public when we have a respiratory virus and we don't have a vaccine, that's the COVID example. Well, we have a really effective, safe vaccine for influenza, and Boy, if you've not got it in the past and you're questioning your motives or uncertain, seek help, ask around. I really encourage you. It is safe and it is much better than getting influenza, and it's much better than not knowing what you have. If you've had the vaccine and you have new symptoms, then you can be a little bit more comfortable about not having influenza.
What other things can you recommend people to prevent spreading?
It's not so much about yourself. You're protecting others. You're protecting your loved ones, your community, your colleagues. That's why we do it. So again, in this time when we're wanting to think more about others in our communities, this is how you can help really about more than anything.
Is there any place that people can go get more information in regards to the flu and the COVID?
Your local pharmacy, your physician. There's a world of information. Buckeye Health Plan on our website. We have information. The CDC website. One thing these days is we do have access to a lot of information. So I'd recommend that.
Awesome. All right, Dr. Lucas, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Cincy Lifestyle on the other side of the break. Plus, Cincy Lifestyle has full episodes of the show up on YouTube, so you can find fun segments you've never seen before or watch your favorites again and again. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Cincy Lifestyle. Stick around, be right back. PK, the director with too much time on his hands, is concerned that we're getting more monochromatic, more gray skies, less greenery on the trees, rain possibly into the evening hours today, temperatures cooling into the low 50s.
All right, thank you. Hey, reach out to us. Give us your comments and ideas. Let us know what your scary movie is, your favorite. Make it a great day.
Thanks for watching our video. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, make it a great day.